in late '03, there was a beating every day.
All of a sudden, David jumps up onto the table and across the table.
Like with his feet right on the conference room table, launched himself across the table at me. I was standing.
At Jeff Hawkins, who was a marketing manager at the time, and knocked him over, grabbed him around the neck and was strangling him.
Battered my face and then shoved me down on the floor. One time he punched me in the gut, just with no warning, as he was passing me.
It was all of a sudden, and it was just a surprise. And
practices shooting rifles. He does karate.
Miscavige was always threats, bullying, haranguing people.
He's a macho guy.
Verbal abuse, physical abuse. That was his game. He is a bully.
He will lash out for uncalled for reasons.
The idea of the leader of the church physically beating other members of the church seems to be completely against Scientology doctrine.
He's a very macho 1950s.
Up on the table across, knocking his chair over and, and struggling with him.
While Rathbun was there, he says Miscavige routinely assaulted church members.
One of them was to Raymond off.
That's David Miscavige in a nutshell.
And Jeff was completely shocked. Like, he came up the ramp and straight over to Mike's desk. Mike had his back.
Rathbun says this man, Mike Rinder, who was chief spokesman for the church, bore the brunt of the alleged abuse.
He came over and with an open hand hit him across the head 3 times, like hard, Raymond off. He's locked in as the head of the Church of Scientology.
He's a tough guy. He will keep power till his last gasping breath.
Rinder claims Scientology's leader, David Miscavige, uses fear and brutality to control.
He literally couldn't defend himself or anything. He just had to sit there and take it.
Actually, probably a couple of 300 probably know, because they've seen one or more incidents. But those are the only people that know.
I never saw one scratch. I never saw one bruise.
These are individuals who have proven not only that they will lie, but that they will get other people to lie.
And any such policy that in the church that's dictating who people should or should not be in communication with.
What else are you lying about?
Get other people to lie.
There is no policy of disconnection.
No.
I was shocked. We all know this policy exists.
Who a Scientologist chooses to be in communication with or not is the choice of that individual Scientologist.
David Miscavige is kind. They say he's hardworking, that he's a passionate man.
Yeah, that's Marty Rathbun. Marty Rathbun is gone. When it was found out, he's out of the church.
So no.
Without any warning or anything, suddenly from behind, he grabbed Guillaume's and Mark Yeager's heads and smashed their heads together.
That's not the character of Mr. David Miscavige.
Creeping up behind you and strangling you. Did that happen?
Absolutely.
Mr. Miscavige never laid a hand on Mike Rinder.
David Miscavige grabs Mike around the neck and he starts strangling and shaking him. And
how often would he lose it? How common was this?
A couple of times a week.
Was the one leading this whole physical violence kick. And it was him who was beating people up.
Miscavige was not there.
Afterwards, Guillaume's ear was bleeding.
He's been kicked out, and now he's turning around pointing finger to the Pope. No, this is not okay.
This is the Pope, knocking me down to the ground.
Equivalent of the Pope in Scientology. He's the leader. He's the absolute authority.
That's correct. He likes to call himself the equivalent of the...
You don't immediately pick up the phone and call the leader of a worldwide religion.
Well, you smash their heads together.
Call the police. I mean, this is an assault.
Marty Rathbun is the perpetrator of this.
You have to lie because there's nothing else that you can do. You can't stand on TV and say, oh yeah, David Miscavige beat people up.
Mr. Miscavige went after me, and then he went after Yeager.
The overt, which is like a transgression, doth speak loudly in accusation.
They offered to cut my, quote, free letters.
They will say anything they need to say, Anderson.
Marty Rathbun is the perpetrator of this.
This year, just bam, 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 bam.
Nobody informed David Miscavige.
They get in the fetal position. Mark Yeager, I've seen him in the fetal position numerous times.
It is very hard to leave, and that's why people don't.
All the times I saw him get violent with somebody, there was never a reason given that made any sense other than...